Hey, Truth Seekers, welcome back. Third post today on the same related material. It is the 151st post, and coincidentally, the movie Armageddon sums to 151. Today's material is about the landing of the Philae probe on a comet, much like what happens in the movie Armageddon. So let's get into it because I dug deeper and I found out a lot, you guys, and I want to show you how this all lines up with what I fear for Evolution Day, November 24th. I'm going to show you. This is going to be a long post. You got to have your thinking cap on and your listening ears, but here we go. So the probe that landed today was sent into space on the Rosetta spacecraft. Rosetta sums to 35, spacecraft 47. Rosetta spacecraft sums to 82. I did a post last week about how 82 has been coded very much lately. The number 82 has to do with Armageddon. In terms of cities in the United States, Seattle sums to 82. In Jewish gematria, another form of adding the words, it sums to 321, like a countdown, 321. The only other city that sums to 321 is Manhattan, and we know what's happened in Manhattan. Anyhow, back to this. The mission start was March 2nd, 2004, a leap year. That was the 62nd day of the year, an important number in Freemasonry. The word Mason sums to 62. Masons want to be reflections of God. God sums to 26, which is the God number in Gematria. That's why there's 26 letters in the English alphabet, which is based on Gematria. Both English and Gematria sum to 74. Think about the United States, where the nation's birthday is 7/4. They speak English. So anyway, the probe that came off the Rosetta spacecraft was named Philae probe. Philae has the gematria of 33, probe 29. Add it together, it sums to 62, like the mission start date number, the 62nd day of the year. If you read about the Philae probe, you'll see there's an emphasis on the number 12. It has 12 key instruments. The numerology of today also reduces to 12. It's also the 12th day of the 11th month. In the first post I did, I covered the gematria of the comet, which sums to 119, not encouraging. It also has 47 coded into it. It's also referred to as 67P, which is adding to my, you could say it's slight paranoia. I mean, and I feel like I'm paranoid for a logical reason. I see what's going on in the world. We're going to get to it. But yeah, I have this slight paranoia that the region I live in is in significant jeopardy. Same with other places, but Portland, Seattle looks to be marked right now. So anyway, 67 in Gematria sums to words such as water, west, alchemy, dark night. Think of Dark Night Rises, water rises. In that movie, a nuke goes off over what you could say is the Atlantic. Big water splash. Also, you might recall the missing Malaysian plane. You guys, I just started my video blog recently, but I've had a written blog for a long time, and I have probably 100 posts on the Malaysian plane just documenting all the hoaxy reporting. It is so coded with 33. And not only that, I predicted before it happened that there was going to be a big news story that day in the United States, because when the story broke in the United States, it was the 66th day of the year. 66, a very important number to these numerologist madmen, but so is 67. And in local time where it happened, it was March 7th, the 67th day of the year, just like the words water, west. Okay. Also remember that number MH370. That's also curious. Okay, it had 227 passengers on it. If you divide 22 by 7, you get the number for pi, representing circles and cycles. Pay attention to missing planes and how many passengers they have. You're going to see a lot of 227. So also today on the 62 front was the death of Carol Ann Susie from the Big Bang Theory. Look at the gematria of her name. Carol's 22, Ann's 11, Carol Ann that way, 33, plus Susie, another 14, sums to 47. The front part of the comet name that it landed on today. She was on the Big Bang Theory. Big Bang Theory in simple English gematria sums to 133. Big Bang in Pythagorean gematria sums to 33. She was born February 2nd, the 33rd day of the year. The numerology of that day is 21, important number in the Bible. If you haven't followed my post before, I've said that these madmen are following a Bible code. Anyhow, February 2nd is the 33rd day of the year. She died yesterday, 11/11. Her career began in the year 74. She died at the age of 62. Remember, 62, just like over here with our little probe. More 62. Remember how we said Armageddon? That movie's about landing on a comet, preventing the second Big Bang. Not exactly, but... Oh yeah, here's the name of that. From the earlier post, I had the name of the front part of that comet that it landed on. Churyumov. 47. What do you know? The name's got to hit the numbers for these people. So let's look at 82 in further depth. The word Armageddon sums to 82. The film is 151 minutes. It has a date release of July 1st, 1998, 7th month. Sums to 35. Rosetta sums to 35. Remember, it started with the Rosetta spacecraft. Michael Bay directed the film. Of course, Michael's a 33 name. You think of Bay, you think of water. Earlier this year, he released the show The Last Ship, about a viral outbreak killing 80% of the world's population. That show released 6/22. 2 weeks ago, we had the Antares space rocket thing crash. Antares is a 33 word. It exploded at 6/22 local time, like the release date of his show, about killing 80% of humanity. It also had a bunch of other numbers that lined up with the Ebola scare. All these numbers, you guys, they just connect through everything. So here's Armageddon. I was talking about how Seattle sums to 82, just like Armageddon, and 321 in Jewish gematria. Mount Rainier, giant mountain near it. It's considered to be one of the most dangerous mountains in the world because of the hazard it presents to Seattle, Tacoma, and all the neighboring communities. Issaquah, Renton, Enumclaw, Auburn, so many more. In college, I went to Arizona State University. I got there just in time for 9/11. I arrived in August 2001. I had a geology professor while I was there, John Holloway. He still teaches there. He's a somebody in this world. He got to go in that little bubble submarine. Remember that? Early 2000s, it was new. It got to go deeper into the ocean. He was one of the people who got to go in that. He showed us images of that. That was really cool. But what he told us is that the one city all of us should never live in is Seattle, because we might live to see it be destroyed by Mount Rainier. He told us that in class, and I was from Portland at the time, and I always loved Seattle. I thought I'd live up here, and I do now. I've evaded his warning, but maybe I will live to regret that. But nobody else, anytime living, has ever told me not to live in any city besides Seattle. So, okay. There's the stats for 82. On the front of maybe a comet coming for Earth, earlier this year I looked at the movie Deep Impact, where Morgan Freeman's the president. This movie came out in 98, the same year as Armageddon. It's directed by Mimi Leader. Both those names sum to 44. The comet that does hit Earth is named Biedermann, which sums to 44. It's discovered on May 10th, 98. 5 plus 10 plus 98 for the date sums to 113. 5 plus 1 plus 0 plus 1 plus 9 plus 9 plus 8 sums to 33. The two ways to get the date numerology. So you see how they code this stuff even into the movies? It's not just real life, you guys. Well, you see why. The same people who are controlling our media in real life are controlling these movies. So, all right. Where did I just have that written at? We're going to go to this November 24th date. In history, there was a massive earthquake in Turkey on this day. Also, a big part of a mountain collapsed in France, wiping out many cities. So this kind of stuff, it's happened before, you guys. This is what could happen if Rainier collapsed. Rainier is so dangerous because, one, it's an active volcano, and two, they say the quality of the rock, because of its age, has deteriorated, so it's just at great jeopardy of just collapsing and causing a massive, unprecedented slide. So let's check this out. I've also had these worries about Portland, and I'll show you why. On April 6th of this year, it was reported that there was a 3.3. Let's see. I have it right here. I have the wrong side, you guys. I apologize. So in Portland, Oregon, you guys, on April 6th of this year, it was reported that there's a 3.3 magnitude quake in Sherwood, which is a suburb of Portland, probably about 15 miles, less than that by the way the bird flies. And Sherwood has the gematria of 44, just like the word earthquake 44. And remember how I just showed you all that deep impact 44 coding? You think Barack Hussein Obama, 44th president. Word kill sums to 44. Lots of disasters in history involving 4-4 and April 4th. MLK was assassinated April 4th. The first president to die in office, William Henry Harrison, died April 4th. 44, not a good thing. Last year on the 33rd day of the year, Philip Seymour Hoffman was found dead with 44 bags of heroin on the 4th floor. Okay. Anyhow, remember that plane was MH370? It had that 37 coded into it. Portland in gematria sums to 37. Oregon is the 33rd state. The abbreviation O plus R sums to 33. It's the only state that sums to 74. This is curious because Jesus and cross sum to 74. Jesus is said to have been crucified at 33. It's not just Christianity. Muhammad sums to 74. It's book 47 of the Quran that speaks of Muhammad. The word Christian sums to 47. The word Jewish is 74. Messiah is 74. Anyway, you can think of it in martyrdom together. So Oregon has the numbers on it to be a sacrifice. Plus, it's the 33rd state. No other state has this. Ohio's the closest thing. Ohio sums to 47. It's the only state that sums to 47. Just like Oregon's the only that sums to 74. On November 4th, 11-4, Oregon and Ohio met in the NBA, same day as Election Day. If you type Oregon, Ohio into Google right now, you're going to get a picture of a fireball. A town in Ohio with a picture of a fireball. And I don't know why that picture's there, but it gives me the creeps. Anyhow, Portland is divided up into 133 square miles. 133.43 square miles to be exact. 7 years ago in 2007, the drill Top Off 4 was practiced there. To date, it is the largest drill practiced in the world, simulating a terrible tragedy from a massive earthquake to a nuclear strike to a massive viral outbreak to whatever you can think of, probably even a meteor strike. They also simultaneously practiced it in Phoenix on the 33rd parallel and on Guam, the 144th meridian. Curious numbers. The word top off, look, I'm going to put it up closer. Do you guys see it? Do you guys see it? Top off. Look at the lettering. It sums to 33, but it has that 6-7 coded into it, and it has a 666 at the end. Top off plus 4 sums to 37 like Portland. And these people like to do things in cycles of 7. I'm sure a lot of you have seen the IMF speech focusing on 7. The reason she did that speech this year is because it's 2014. 2 plus 0 plus 1 plus 4 is 7. We're in a 7-year. Portland, its establishment date has a numerology of 7. Portland's seal was established March 22nd, 322, like Yale Skull and Bones. That's a number of tragedy and national identity. A lot of people don't know this story, but on March 22nd, once upon a time in history, was the date of the Jamestown massacre, where supposedly every single person in the village was killed by Native Americans or Indians. The word Indian has a gematria of 33. But think about this story. If everybody was killed, were there any witnesses? Oh, well, I don't think enough people thought about that at the time, because what came out of that was this new self-identity as Virginianers, which was based out of rage for the natives around. Before, never had the white people thought of themselves as separate as Britain. But now they needed an identity, and out of this movement came the willingness to kill the natives and expand territory, essentially. Think about that as a parallel to what happened on September 11th and what we were taught from that and what we've been taught. It's a nonstop war against Islam and hating Islamic people on the media. Everybody's on there, left and right, trying to say that Islam's bad, from Bill Maher to Bill O'Reilly. And it's just the same thing. It's just a new era and a new enemies needed to further the cause. It's an ongoing epic. All right. 1 second, guys. I'll be right back. All right. So I know I've dropped a lot of information on your guys' heads, so let's clear this up. On April 6th, there was this 3.3 magnitude earthquake just outside of Portland. From April 6th to November 24th, which is Evolution Day because Darwin published The Origin of Species, it's also the day that Lucy was revealed, which was supposed to be the missing link. That research came out of Arizona State University. I've done a written post exposing that. It's all coded with 33, including the name Johansen, the man who discovered him. And then when you think about the word Lucy, L is 12, so 1 plus 2 becomes 3. U is 21, so 2 plus 1 becomes 3. C is 3, 3, 3, 3, Lucy. And ASU's on the 33rd parallel. ASU breaks down to 113. So you can see what's going on here, how they're using the state universities even with their coding. I'm sad to say I went there. No, I met some good people. It's all good. Anyhow, from April 6th to November 24th, Evolution Day is a span of 232 days. That is interesting because Oregon sums to 232 in Jewish gematria. So does the word Satan. From the date of August 20th, which is the 232nd day of the year, there are 133 remaining days. From August, and think about how those numbers line up with Portland and Oregon. Remember, Portland's divided up into 133 square miles. 7 years ago, they had the drill top off 4. The phrase 7 years sums to 133. August 20th to November 24th is 96 days. The word Freemason sums to 96. And I'm telling you, these numerologists, they like to stack stuff like this. It has meaning to them. This is what they've been doing all throughout history. So, and I'll also say, guys, just because I'm presenting this, it doesn't mean that I'm correct. It doesn't mean it's going to happen for certain, but I know it is coming down the pipe, and there is good reason to have suspicions about this date. So my message is prepare, not freak out. My message is prepare your mind and prepare physically. All right, but it gets better. El Salvador sums to 37 in gematria, just like the word Portland. They had a 7.4 magnitude quake. They're in the Americas, just like Portland and Oregon. On October 13th, from October 13th to November 24th is a span of 42 days. Meaning of life number. So let's just look at this again. 1124 in gematria. 11's a master number, so it can stay 11. 24 can become 2 plus 4 equals 6. So this date to numerologists can look like this, 11-6. In gematria, the word country equals 116. The word powerful equals 116. The word illuminate equals 116. Nuclear war equals 116. Even more. Plus, it's an upside down 911. Upside down 9/11. On 11/6 this year, we got the story of the Bin Laden shooter, all coded with these same numbers. Also, the date 11/24/14 has a numerology of 49. That's the number of revelation. In 1976, there was a massive earthquake in Turkey that killed over 5,000 people. Same date. Turkey's a nation that's been picked on a lot. That's the thing, you guys. That's the thing in the United States. So many of us think we're invincible because nothing's really happened here. Well, 9/11 kind of changed that a little bit. Hurricane Sandy, New Orleans, Katrina. Things have been building, but we still haven't been hit massively as a nation. And that day is still coming. These people are saving the best for last. The joke's going to be on us. And most people in America think they're greater than everyone else, so it's going to be a big surprise for them. Also on this date in history, 13th century, a mountain collapsed in France, like what's threatened with Mount Rainier. So, Evolution Day, you guys, that's November 24th. That's 11 days from now. No, excuse me, 12 days from now. Less than 2 weeks. My message isn't freak out. My message isn't be afraid. My message is just be alert, be aware, recognize why they're putting this stuff in the media, and also have a plan in place. I mean, the difference, imagine that if they do some hoax to us, or they have something serious planned, and you live in a place where you lose power for 1 week, you are going to be so much happier if you have warm clothes, if you have dry food, if you have water, and if you are mentally prepared. It can be the difference between surviving. So that's my message, you guys. We're living in dangerous times. We're living in dangerous times because there hasn't been justice, because people have been assassinated for decades, because World Trade Centers have been demolished in the middle of the biggest city in the world and blamed on a boogeyman. All this time I've been asking, where's this going? And I've been watching, and now it's obvious where it's going. They're giving us all sorts of clues. And I'm trying to show you guys how those clues line up. It doesn't mean I'm correct, but I am on a path that is guided by truth. Until next time.